The sequel to the movie 50 Shades of Grey opens in theaters across the country on Friday. But one group says the film glamorizes sexual and domestic abuse. It's urging people to boycott the movie and donate to a women's shelter instead. Joining us now from that group is Lisa Thompson, Vice President of the organization, the National Center on Sexual Exploitation. Thanks for coming in.
Oh, thank you for having me.
It was a really popular book, still continues to be, and there are sequels to the book as well, and it was a very successful movie. When people talk about it, they snicker or they joke and they talk about how much they like it, but you're saying that the movie is dangerous. Why?
Yes, well, the 50 Shades of Grey franchise normalizes and glamorizes a story of sexual and domestic abuse as if it's a story of true love and romance, but it's anything but a romance. The male lead character, Christian Grey, consistently uses threats, coercion, intimidation, stalking, and even sexual torture to isolate and control his love interest, Anastasia. It's as if he's reading out of an abuser's how-to manual. And ultimately, the story, the franchise, sends the message and teaches women that by being submissive, loving, and enduring through abusive relationships, that they can change their abuser. And that's a pervasive myth in our culture that already causes far too many women to stay in dangerous relationships.
Sure. Why do you think that it is acceptable for popular culture now to glamorize this?
Well, unfortunately, sexual objectification is rampant in our society today. If you look at magazines, television, social media, even
sure, it's everywhere.
Super Bowl,
you can't escape
yeah.
it. I'm a mom of kids, and it's everywhere.
Yeah, the Super Bowl halftime
Super Bowl,
perfect.
Shows,
yeah. So you take that and you couple it with the availability and accessibility of internet pornography, and that has really laid the foundation for the acceptance of the 50 Shades of Grey story.
So it sounds like you're going to where they are and you've launched your own social media campaign. Tell us about that. What's that about?
Yes, so at the National Center on Sexual Exploitation, we've launched a campaign in partnership with groups from Canada, Australia, and beyond to send the message that 50 Shades is abuse. And we're inviting people to visit the website 50shadesabuse.com, where they can actually make a pledge and say that they're not going to go to the film, and they can donate to a women's shelter instead.
You know, you are providing a service for women. You're making a statement about a movie that's saying that there is sexual abuse. There are some statistics, nearly 20 people per minute are physically abused. So you are now talking about a women's shelter. Where can people go, though, if they are in a violent situation?
Well, the first thing we would say is if a person is in an immediate, crisis situation, that they need to call 911. That's
of course
paramount. If it's a non-crisis situation, we would just advise that an individual would reach out to a friend, a trusted loved one, and confide in them, share their story, and that in itself will lift a big burden and begin a process where they can seek healing.
Heal, or
right.
they can actually talk to people
right.
about this, because I think that's part of the stigma, right? They think that they're the only ones it's happening to.
Exactly. And then also, there's an important resource we want to make people aware of. There's a website called domesticshelters.org where people can find a list of domestic shelters across the country. And just backing up to our social media campaign, I wanted to point out that we have social media graphics that we've prepared that people can download and share on their social media, because we think it's really important to send Hollywood the message that sexual and domestic violence aren't sexy.
And it's not okay.
It's not okay.
What do you say to someone who says to you, you're a prude? This isn't about that.
Well, I think, it's funny that comes up so much, because ultimately this is about good sex, not, if anything, they're the ones who are destroying healthy and good sexual relationships, and I think we're the bastions of we really are promoting sex positivity.
Okay, well, thank you so much for joining us. Lisa Thompson, National Center on Sexual Exploitation.
Thank you so much.